Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's 6 p.m. here in Cairo. Time to have a look on the latest stories from Channel 2. I'm Abir Mitwali. I'll be presenting the news bulletin. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi pardoned several prisoners in response to National Human Rights Council's appeal. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli participates in the high-level meeting to commemorate the United Nations 80th anniversary. And 20 people killed by Israeli army across Gaza as France readies for endorsing Palestinian state. Welcome back. The news in detail. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi pardoned a number of prisoners for the remainder of the prison sentence after taking the constitutional measures in this regard. Monday's pardon comes just days after the president ordered relevant authorities to study a petition submitted by the state-affiliated National Council for Human Rights to pardon a number of individuals. The pardoned prisoners are 6: Saeed Magli El-Daw, كرم عبد السميع، ولاء جمال سعد، علاء أحمد سيف عبد الفتاح، محمد عبد الخالق عبد اللطيف، منصور عبد الجابر عبد الرازق. And on behalf of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli participated at a high-level meeting in New York to commemorate the 80th anniversary of the establishment of the United Nations organization. The Prime Minister's participating at the opening session of high-level week meetings at United Nations General Assembly is his first activity as part of his visit to the United Nations seat in the United States. Opening the meeting, Analia Barubok, head of the United Nations General Assembly, detailed the principles that formed the basis for organization that was established following World War II. United Nations General Secretary Guterres said that the world today faces a transgression on the United Nations Charter that fostered peace, security, and protection of civilians. Several heads of states and governments attended the meeting. Also in New York, Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli delivers Egypt's speech at United Nations high-level meeting to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the Fourth World Conference on Women, which is currently underway. The agenda of the Prime Minister also includes chairing Egypt's delegation at the International Conference on the Middle East Two-State Solution, which will be held later on Monday. On the sidelines of his participation, Madbouli is scheduled to hold a number of bilateral meetings with leaders of friendly countries and representatives of regional and international organizations. Foreign Minister Badr Abdel Ati stressed the necessity of collective and urgent action to defend the principles of humanitarian international law that are undermined by Israel due to its reckless policies in the region. During his meeting with the President of International Committee of Red Cross, Mirjana Spotarich, in New York, Abdel Ati reviewed Egypt's efforts to stop the war in Gaza Strip and its humanitarian significant role by providing 70% of total humanitarian aid to Gaza Strip. Minister Abdel Ati also tackled the current preparations to hold the 5th Virgin of Aswan Forum, in addition to Egypt's preparations to host the International Conference of Early Recovery and Reconstruction in Gaza upon reaching ceasefire, saying that he is looking forward to activate participation by the International Committee of the Red Cross in these two events. Also in New York, Foreign Minister Badr Abdel Ati tackled regional developments at a meeting with the International Crisis Group President and CEO Comfort Ero. The top diplomat condemned Israeli treacherous attack against the state of Qatar, rejecting any attempts to threaten security or stability of any country in the region. The meeting also covered Egypt's vision towards the crisis in the Gaza Strip and the Palestinian people's right to remain in their lands and to establish an independent state along the borders of the 4th of June 1967. Abdel Ati also reviewed Egypt's efforts in reaching a deal with Iran over its nuclear program, as well as Cairo's efforts to restore stability in Sudan. Minister Abdel-Ati reiterated his condemnation of the Israeli military escalation in Gaza and ongoing violation in occupied West Bank. During his meeting with the Kuwaiti counterpart, Sheikh Abdullah Yahya, Foreign Minister Abdel-Ati stressed the necessity of an immediate and comprehensive ceasefire of the military operations, ensure urgent and unconditional access for humanitarian aid to Gaza. Meanwhile, Abdel-Ati denounced the Israeli attack on Qatar, asserting his complete rejection to any attempt to threaten the security and stability of the Gulf states. He confirmed Egypt's firm commitment to Gulf security as an integral part of its national security, affirming the importance of Egyptian Gulf cooperation to confront foreign interventions and threatens Arab national security. France and Saudi Arabia will convene dozens of world leaders on Monday to rally support for a two-state solution, with several of them expected to formally recognize a Palestinian state. Israel and the United States will boycott this summit. Britain, Canada, Australia, and Portugal are all recognizing the Palestinian state on Sunday. However, not all European powers will follow suit. Italy said such a move could be counterproductive. The U.S. administration has also warned of possible consequences for those who take measures against Israel. Palestinian Foreign Minister Varsin Agha-Bishian also hailed growing recognitions of the state of Palestine, saying they push forward the peace process. Agha-Bishian described the two-state solution as historical and non-reversible track. Also, Secretary General of the Arab League, Ahmed Abul-Ghait, welcomed the recognition of the independent Palestinian state by United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia. Arab League Chief Abul-Ghait stressed that this recognition corrects a historical error that has extended for years and comes in line with the demands of the people of these countries to support the in-strict Palestinian right to attain independence and to live in dignity. And Germany on Monday reaffirmed its position that it would not recognize a Palestinian state until the Israelis and Palestinians negotiate a two-state solution. German government spokesperson, however, stressed that there must not be any further annexations of Palestinian territories by Israel. The comments came ahead of the United Nations General Assembly, where France is expected to become the latest country to recognize a Palestinian state, following Australia, Britain, Canada, and Portugal, who did so on Sunday. And to Gaza, Palestinian medical sources said 20 people were killed across the Strip since Monday morning as Israeli occupation army intensified attacks against civilians, mostly in Gaza City. Israel is launching a ground operation in the main city in Gaza since early September that coincides with the Western rush of recognitions of Palestinian state during the 80th round of United Nations General Assembly meetings. We have more in the following report. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un said he has fond memories of U.S. President Donald Trump and is open to future talks with the United States if he can keep his nuclear arsenal. Kim met Trump 3 times for high-profile summits during Trump's first term before talks collapsed in Hanoi in 2019 over what concessions Pyongyang was prepared to make on its atomic weapons. The United States' demand that Kim give up his banned weapons has long been a sticking point between the two countries. Chinese authorities in the southern city of Shenzhen said they plan to evacuate 400,000 people ahead of incoming super typhoon Ragasa. According to the Philippines Weather Service, the typhoon made landfall on the Philippines' Calayan Island. Just over 10,000 Filipinos were evacuated across the country, with schools and government offices closed on Monday in the Manila region and across 29 other provinces. Also, Hong Kong-based airline Cathay Pacific said it expected to cancel more than 500 flights on Tuesday as the typhoon was forecast to hit the Chinese financial hub. The Philippines National Weather Service said maximum sustained winds of 215 kilometers per hour were reported at the storm center, with gusts reaching up to 165 kph as it moved westward towards the Baboyans. The Hong Kong Observatory forecast the city will see gale to storm force winds on Wednesday. The city's hospital authority said public hospitals have implemented special measures to ensure emergency services are not affected during the storm. Welcome back. Egypt's bourse closed in fluctuation today amid sell-offs by local and Arab and foreign corporations against purchases by local, Arab and foreign investors. The market capital of listed companies lost 6 billion Egyptian pounds, crossing 2.4 trillion pounds amid an average net transactions of 3.6 billion. The benchmark index EGX 30 fell 0.1% above the 35,210 points mark. The equal weighted indices EGX 70 and 100 both rose 0.2%. Paris Saint-Germain forward Ousmane Dembélé in tipped to hold off Barcelona sensation Lamine Yamal and win the men's Ballon